All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My message this morning is titled, Come On.
Come on.
Now, last week I had this secondary phrase on there that went, it's coming. But then I decided to take that part off because I wanted it to be about now, not something in the future.
There you go.
So I kind of cut back and said, no, we're just going to make it about come on.
Come on.
And all of this, I need to go back, sorry. I said this too last week, that sometimes when I'm driving and there's erratic drivers around me, that I holler, come on! And the boys have started saying that when they think cars aren't right or whatever. And so I kind of told myself, okay, I need to quit saying that because I don't want them to be aggressive in their driving when they get to that point. And also the fact that, I just don't need to encourage that kind of talking in front of them. But the other thing was that sometimes when I think things don't happen when they should, or that I'm not getting it done as quickly as it should, I tend to think, I usually shout out, come on, like this, just in my head, because it's like, okay, come on, I'm tired of this, let's go. But anyway, and all of this is a lack of patience on my part. Wouldn't you agree? And a lack of patience can really be damaging to us physically, mentally, spiritually, because when we lack patience, we end up veering away from God more and veering away from that spiritual center that we call the Christ within. And we tend not to treat people so kindly, do we, when we veer away from patience. But anyway, let's look at Fillmore's definition of patience from the Revealing Word. An attitude of mind characterized by poise, inner calmness, and quiet endurance, especially in the face of trying conditions. Doesn't that sound perfect? Mm-hmm. And do you know anybody that is like that? The person that came to mind when I saw that definition for me was Warren's grandmother. I would say that she was always calm and sweet. And Warren says that too. You've heard him talk about his grandmother Stoneberger. Anyway, but she, and I never heard her say anything bad about or against anybody. She always just kind of had that inner calmness and quiet endurance. It was really amazing. Now, Reverend Warren says that he saw her get upset a few times, but I kind of question that sometimes because it was like, I never saw her do that. But the power of patience can enable us to not go to that place of losing our patience or getting upset or getting angry. And it's not disrupted by outer conditions. So that means it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside. If we are claiming patience from within, then none of that, I always say to the boys, well, you're rubber and I'm rubber, you're glue, everything you say bounces off me, sticks. Yeah, so it's like that. It won't enter into our field of thinking or being or affect us physically or mentally, spiritually. And I think all of us would love to live from this attitude of mind and find that in our everyday living with ease and grace. Not something that we have to focus on or make happen, but just live and take that breath and know that everything in the outer does not affect us. And it can change the whole thing. But we find ourselves sometimes just getting anxious and stressed and worried and frustrated when we lose that patience, when we can't find that attitude of mind, when we are under the influence of all these outer circumstances. So how can we correct this behavior? Well, here is a little more of the definition that I think helps us. Patience has its foundation in faith and is perfected only in those who have unwavering faith in God. The proving of your faith worketh patience, James 1:3. Wow. And when I read this, it was kind of amazing because I never really paired up patience and faith as working together, believe it or not. I mean, I never consciously thought about it. I'm sure spiritually I knew that because we all know all the spiritual things that we know because we're connected to God. But I never consciously thought about it. And when you think about the idea of faith as being seen beyond the physical, then it kind of makes sense because you're not letting whatever is in the physical affect you. You have enough faith to know that all of that is just happening and it doesn't have to interfere with your own peace of mind and patience. And that changes a lot. And when you break that down, then it's easier to understand that if we have this unwavering faith in God, then we're never going to go to that place of lacking patience. We're not going to get upset with the person on the phone. We're not going to get upset with the doctor's office. We're not going to get upset with the groceries at the grocery store attendant. We're not going to get upset over anything, because any family member even, because we are coming from that place of being centered and knowing that faith and patience are linked together. So the lack of patience, though, is, God bless you, is an opportunity for us to grow in faith. When we find ourselves lacking patience, we can claim faith right away. Wait, I got faith in God, so I know this is all going to be okay. I don't have to push this and try to make this happen. And we start by just affirming our oneness with God and knowing that God is here with us, guiding us. That awareness, that flip of the switch, is sometimes all we need. But we also then from there have to know that we don't have to scream out, come on, or like this, come on, you know. And we can release any guilt or shame that we get around that. Because, you know, when we're working on a spiritual principle and we slip, then sometimes we go, oh gosh, I wasn't going to go there. Why am I going there? And you start building on the guilt and shame. And that's just as bad as making the slip, isn't it? And so we have to be able to take that breath and go, okay, I'm one with God. I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm not going to pile on the guilt and shame. It's okay. I can move in this next moment right now and know that I have all the faith and patience I need. And then we have to always stop ourselves and find ourselves in that peace and understanding that we want in our lives. And that's sometimes harder to do when you have all this going on around you. I mean, even just walking into your house sometimes, or a room in your house, and you see mayhem, or you see, I call it the magic piles, you know, that just seem to accumulate and get bigger and bigger. And then and you're thinking, oh, how did that pile get so big? But you're the one that piled it, you know. But it can be overwhelming, and you can get really impatient, and it starts putting the pressure on you, and you're back to the guilt and shame. Why did I let it get like this? Why did I? And all of this stuff makes you feel anxious and stressed, and then you're losing patience again. And you're going, come on, I just picked that up yesterday. This happens with the toys. You know, I just picked that up, and you guys have got it out again. You know, you have, and you know, I'm teaching them, really enforcing it, that they have to put their stuff back when they get it out. And that's really been working, which is really good. I told them this summer is summer camp to learn how to be first and second graders. So we're going to make sure we practice all these things. Wow. But, you know, we have to do the same thing. We have to practice, too, or else it's not going to work for us, is it? And that's what I love about Unity, is that they say it's practical Christianity, but it's practical Christianity. We get to practice this stuff and try to perfect it in our lives, which is huge. But through faith, we turn to God, and we know that God's limitless power. Now, think about this. When I heard the word, thought of myself saying this, limitless power, I thought of the stars. Think of the plethora of stars that you can see on a dark summer night. And the thing about that, God made all those stars. So God made all the possibilities for us. If you think about the stars, think about all the possibilities we have been given and are given every single moment of the day to be able to bring forth all these spiritual ideas and bring patience into our life. And if you think about all of those stars as opportunities, then you know that no matter what's happening around you or in your house or anywhere, that we can see that there are a plethora of ideas and possibilities for us to bring forth just by looking at all those stars in the sky. From the book, From Prosperity, this is where the ride of learning patience, it gets a little bit bumpy, but from the book Prosperity, Fillmore says this about patience. So when we are wanting something to hurry up and get done, we can know through faith that the highest good is coming forth at the right and perfect time, right?
Right.
You know, and I say that all the time. Thank you, God, for answered prayer. I now accept this or something better for the good of all concerned. Easy statement to say, but are we living from that? Not always. And so it goes on with, if the demonstration seems slow in coming, patience and persistence will win. Now that makes sense. We can live from that. We can make that happen. But then the rest of it, that may be because the poverty, okay, if the demonstration seems slow in coming, jump down. That may be because the poverty consciousness has a tenacious hold and takes effort to be get rid of. Now, poverty consciousness is something that we all have. It's a lack of faith. It's a lack of whatever. It's a lack of whatever is going on in our bodies or whatever is going on. Okay? And all we have to do is think about this. You might say, oh, I don't have poverty consciousness. But the minute we say we live in lack, the minute we think we don't have enough of something, we're living in poverty consciousness, which is the opposite of having patience and faith. Total opposite. I mean, as far apart as you can go. You can have, can't read that very good, but lack of love. When you think nobody loves me, or I don't have any friends, or I can't seem to go, nobody invites me over for dinner. All those things, you're living in lack. Poverty consciousness. You've activated that in your brain. And why? Create your own party, I always say.
Absolutely.
Create your own party. Yeah. Lack of money can cost you your business, it says underneath, but it can cost you a lot more than that. If you think you lack money, then you're living in poverty consciousness. Never think you lack money, because guess what? They print money every single day of the year. And we have enough money for whatever we want to do if we allow ourselves to accept it. Lack of support. How many people think there is nobody here to help them? And this church right here, every single person here, if one of us needed something and we called the other person and they weren't in another state, they would probably help us, right? So we have support with each other. We don't always ask for it because guess what? We live in poverty consciousness. I don't want to ask somebody. I don't want them to go out of their way. Or I don't want to ask somebody. Or I don't want to tell somebody I've been sick. Or because I don't want to put it on them.
Don't want to burden.
Yeah, burden them. Yeah, there you are. Poverty consciousness. That's poverty consciousness. Don't live in that area of your life, ever. Lack of food. This one really gets me here. Because I have never seen so many food banks in this in a town as Conyers, Georgia. There's nobody that should go hungry ever in this area. Because I'll tell you, and Covington too, because there are so many food banks. I know somebody that lived in the Kansas City area, and they knew where all the food banks were and which day to go and what they were getting from different places. They had a pantry bigger than mine. If you've seen, I got a shelf in my utility room that I have all the extra stuff on. I call it my pantry. It's not really, but anyway, I mean, they had like a room almost full of food, and then acted like they never had anything to eat. And I'm like, talk about poverty consciousness. There is nobody that should be on the streets being hungry, because every one of these food banks give everything away. They give eggs, milk, bread. You go down to WIC and you can get, if you don't have a job, you can get food stamps, all this stuff. There's nobody that should go hungry. And if you say you're hungry, then it's on you because you aren't fixing your own food is what the problem is. Are you going to get coupons to go to Longhorn? No. Is that Longhorn Steakhouse? No, but you can get food and make your own whatever, pasta dish at home or whatever. And then this, of course, is the lack of patience, which I think is, I used this before, but I thought that was so funny. I didn't use it for lack of patience, but for poverty consciousness, I used it. This guy gives up right about the time he's going to hit the what? Diamond mine. And that's the other thing. If we start living in a lack of patience or that poverty consciousness, then we've given up. We've given up on the ability to be the best that we can be. We've given up on the ability to accept what is ours to receive. I mean, you never know what is yours to receive until you receive it. And if you blocked your mind with poverty consciousness, guess what? You're not going to get anything because you've already blocked yourself out. So doing that, though, lets us live in lack, which lets us not experience patience. because you can't accept patience in your life if you're living in lack. From Dynamics from Living, it says, so the fear, the doubts, the poverty, the sin, the sickness, the 1,000 erroneous states of consciousness have their germs. I couldn't believe I found this clip art. There's a mouth. These are all germs. Okay? So everything, all that lack of poverty consciousness and all these lacks, fear, doubt, everything, they have their germs. And these organisms whose office it is to make men miserable do their work to the very best of their ability, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they just grow and grow and grow with every word you say, with every moment of opening your mouth in that situation of not having patience or living in lack, all those things. And it goes on with this. They are not responsible for their existence, however. They are formed vehicles of thought. So guess who's putting all those germs out there?
We are.
Yeah, we are. We are. They are the servants of those who gave them life. Every little spew comes out of your mouth builds. It is not to the germs that the wise regulator of affairs should look, but to those who are creating them, and thereby bringing into existence discord and disease. We're the ones that say, I don't have patience. We're the ones yelling, come on. We're the ones saying, I'm not enough, or don't have enough, or whatever it is. And we're the ones that can't walk out knowing that whatever is happening out here is not affecting us. That we are that spiritual being that is like rubber, and everything else bounces off. And I think that's where, the idea of responsibility comes in for unity, is when we are that responsible spiritual being, a unity true student, then we know that we are here to be that ball of rubber that bounces everything off. We don't get sucked into the vortex. But how many times a day do we give power to these kind of thoughts? How many times a day do we have to convince ourselves that this is our life? We do this. We convince ourselves, oh yeah, all this stuff is our life. This is the way we have to live. I was raised this way, or so-and-so did this to me, or my kids are driving me crazy. I've said that before. Driving me crazy.
Right.
No, it doesn't happen that way. You can't claim it that way, though. That's a bad thing. You can't use that as an excuse. But in reality, we know that's not true because we know we're one with God. And God is good. And so that's what we have to have. But every word we speak of negativity grows, just like the germs. It grows. And it doesn't just affect us. We're spewing that stuff out into the universe. If we want to see something different in the world, then we have to start with ourselves and quit spewing it and then seeing something different in the universe. See the good. Just see the good all the time. Be that attitude of mind that first definition of patience is. An attitude of mind where we no longer see all the bad. I mean, people don't want to watch the news because they don't want to see all the bad. But you see the good and you see something different. And if we did that, we would bring forth a fabulous existence for all of us, wouldn't we?
Yes.
It would be great. But I love this definition because we want to think about this. When we start talking about, and I'm sorry, world peace, or things being different in the world, beyond just us, where we start thinking that, some people think of it as being wishful thinking. It's not wishful thinking. It is not wishful thinking. It is possible. It is possible for us to live in patience. It is possible for us to never say another negative thing ever. Believe it or not, it's possible.
Yes, it is.
And it's not wishful thinking. Fillmore defined wishing as this. A wish is a superficial expression of desire and is only fleeting. Oh, I want to say this. The book Wishes Fulfilled, don't think of that as being against that. Because, we know from the book study that we learned that is something deeper than just a wish. Oh, I wish I could do that. No, it's more than that. Okay. I meant to preface that with that. The patience, perseverance, and intense eagerness necessary to spiritual growth cannot come from anything as shallow as a wish. So, wishes are not, we can't say, oh, I wish I was more patient.
Right.
Wishing will give way to desire when one consecrates himself wholly to God and follows up his consecration with prayer and meditation on truth. This is like what Wishes Fulfilled more or less said. Wishing in that book, wishing something was more of this, where you know that God is there to help bring it forth. Well, that's the same thing with this. When we desire to see a difference in our world, and we want to live for more patience, or we want to live from that idea of seeing that out there in the world, it is possible because we know God, because we know that God is here, and we know that we have that total faith that patience can come forth for all of us. So we don't wish because we know through faith that it can be so, and we know that God can bring it forth. Got me? And through faith, we manifest that desire that we have in our heart. And God gives us every second of the day to be able to manifest something else. And whatever that is, we can make it happen. And patience is one of those things that we can call forth to help us see the manifestation of something. You talk about having to practice patience. I'll tell you, I've been practicing patience for 2 years now, since we sold downtown. And I know there's a lot of naysayers out there that think we should have never sold downtown without having something else, or they say we shouldn't have sold that because, at least we had a building. All these little flippy, living in poverty consciousness, not seeing that something is possible. And you know what? I feel like we did swing wide the doors by making this move and trying to move forward and making it happen. And it's going to happen. I mean, I've been having dreams lately. It's just been fabulous. And if you've had your vision board up, I'm sure some of you have been having moments of dreams. Yep. Because you will be manifesting that even in your sleep. And it's going to come. And I've had to have a lot of patience. And you know how many times I've said, oh, come on. But, I know that it's going to come on. I know it. And I even had a vision the other day about walking in and going in there and sitting on the chairs and then and seeing how the sanctuary was laid out, which was kind of awesome. But anyways, sitting there and praying, and then all of a sudden the church just filled up. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we've been praying for. But when you live in poverty consciousness, there is a remedy for that. From the Revealing Word Poverty, the cure for poverty consciousness is this, which I think is fabulous. When love has begun its silent pulsations at one's center of consciousness, one cannot remain in want or poverty. My power of love. I love love, don't you? Mm-hmm. I love love. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Don't be sorry.
I'm not sorry, really, but
just love.
I just love. Anyway, one cannot remain in want or poverty. Isn't that powerful? And there's more to it. Hold on. Because it says, from the invisible currents of the inner ether, love will draw to any man all that belongs to him, and all belongs to him that is required to make him happy and contented.
Wow.
Yeah. Turn on that powerhouse of love. Love, faith, patience. It all comes forth together, and you're happy and content. Don't we want that? Every day wake up happy and content? I mean, I'm like, yes. And all we have to do is activate a few powers, flip the switch, say, okay, it's coming. It's coming. I'm way ahead of myself. Not really. Anyway, but it is that truth principle of love. So we just have to know and bring it forth. And I kind of like the idea of the three, when you think about it, like faith, love, and then patience. And all of that comes together. And it is a powerhouse of energy that can cure everything. Patience is a state of mind that looks at the world from the harmony of the Christ mind, of freedom from personal thinking. Now, we know that harmony and love work together. So that's kind of like the same thing. From love of the Christ mind. And our Christ mind is at center with God. So it's basically saying the love and the Christ center is going to help you bring forth a freedom from personal thinking. Now, the freedom from personal thinking is all that outer stuff that we get distracted by. Because our personal thinking has nothing to do with our spiritual self. What am I going to wear today? No, I don't really know what I'm going to wear. I don't have anything in my closet. We go back to that poverty. Thank you. instead of saying, it's a beautiful day, I'm going to find the perfect thing to wear today.
Yeah.
I've got this plethora of clothes in my closet. It's just a fabulous thing. Well, isn't that a whole lot different?
Yes.
Who do you want to hang out with? The first person or the second person? I want the second person, yeah. I want to be in that. Anyway, it continues with, it has its foundation in love. Has its foundation in love. Great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing can make them stumble. Great peace, and nothing can make you stumble. All you have to do is bring forth that love, that knowing, faith. Faith is up here in the middle of your head. If you ever have a ping on the top of your head, or you feel like you've got, like, I call it ping, like a pain or something, that is faith pinging at you. You don't have enough faith, and just start tapping the top of your head, and you'll see that your spirituality will awaken. Same with when you're feeling, what do you do when you cry? You usually grab your chest. That's where love is. You usually grab your chest and you're crying and you're sobbing and it hurts your heart, you'll say. That's why we have to activate those powers. We have to tell ourselves that nothing can make you stumble when you're in harmony with the Christ mind, when you're in harmony with God. It's a perfect cure for everything. But how many times I have to step back a minute, because how many times have we desired a break from the stress and the pressure, and we create more of that for ourselves? Multiple times, huh? Yeah. And how many times during the stress and pressure have we lost our patience? Multiple times. How many times have you said, oh gosh, I wish I wouldn't have lost my patience, but I was under such stress, and I was so upset, and I just lost my patience. It's not my fault. Yeah, it's your fault. You're the one that allowed the stress and all that to get you, so that you did lose your patience, and you're sitting there really telling yourself that you really are at fault, even though you're saying that you're not at fault, because you just claim that you allowed the stress and worry and stuff to get to you. And how many times have we had that desire for the calmness and peace that patience brings us, but we haven't been able to call it forth? How many times? Multiple times. But I bet that we all desire to have that peace and calmness. I bet we all desire to have patience. I bet we all desire that personal longing to be able to have that point of view where we don't react, where we stay calm, where we allow ourselves to just be in that moment. Don't we? And when that does happen, because I know it has happened for all of us at one point or another, it has happened for us. But when that has happened, didn't it feel good? It feels really good. Well, anyway, in the book Keep a True Lent, we find some instructions of how to achieve our desire to keep patience in our life, and this is kind of fun. The first requisite in the development of patience is spiritual understanding. Spiritual understanding. The larger our vision of life, the more freedom we feel, and we are spared the friction and fretting that comes to those who are centered in personality. Basically, that's what I've been saying. Whatever is happening out there doesn't affect you because you have spiritual understanding. And we have to also know that whatever we react to, whatever we are going berserk over, affects everybody out there. So we have to kind of like stop and say, I'm not going to let that affect everybody out there, and I'm not going to let everybody out there affect me. I'm going to stay in that idea of centered in truth, centered in faith, and then it doesn't happen. And then whether one is patient or not depends on your own point of view. So we have to change our point of view. If he or she is selfish and self-centered and lives in a material world, bound by his own interests, he lacks the qualities that go to make up patience. Wouldn't you say that's true? And I see the little thing behind there, me. Yeah. And I know, we all know people that live like this. It's always about me. Who cares about you? But it's about me. And that when you're around somebody like that, guess what? That's when it starts rubbing off, doesn't it? And you find yourself not having patience because you don't like their selfishness and self-centeredness. But what do you have to do in that moment?
Walk away.
Go back to, first, go back to the idea that we have a larger vision of life, that we have a spiritual understanding that God is right here, and that this person cannot enter into that place. You know, you've got that round rubber ball around you that will not allow anybody to enter into your own personal space of perfect patience. And then it says, we may take the gift of patience and make use of it. So we do have to do that. We can't just say, oh, I've got patience, and then I'm so dang mad at this. Don't we do that? Yeah. Some of us will walk out of here today and get upset like that. But that's not patience, is it? And that's not where we want to express perfect patience. We take that breath and know. We accept the gift of patience. We may receive it by faith and then work it out in every department of our being by daily practice of truth. Whew. We can pray for patience every single moment of the day. Okay, God, I know I might not be experiencing patience right now, but I know you are one with me, and you're going to help me strengthen my patience in my world, in my life, so that I can share this with my world and my life. And so then, so these are the simple practices that we can do. We can do those three things. We can accept it. I'm backing up. We can accept it. We can not let any of that other stuff bother us. We can change our view and not let the people that, because look at it, you're going to be around. You say get away from those people with the personality or selfishness, but you're going to run into people all the time. If you think that you just cutting somebody out of your life is going to change it, it's not. They're going to start coming to you like little magnets, sticking on you. You know, because you've opened up that door. So you have to change your point of view. We begin with spiritual understanding. We change our point of view and how we see everything in our life. And then we receive the gift of patience. Because if you think you don't have any patience and you haven't received patience, then guess what? You're not going to have any patience. But you know you have patience. It's already there within you. I have patience. So let's try to make a deal today that we are going to start activating patience in our life, that we're going to live from patience each and every day, and try to do this on a day-to-day basis this week. I mean, just try to bring patience forth this week. That's all you have to do. You can start today, tomorrow, keep going, and see how it works for you. Are you with me?
Yes.
Good, because I think, this next one explains what our rewards will be if even just all of us right here start practicing that. You can see, we will be able to see the rewards. And here's the rewards. Patience gives self-control. Ooh, that's powerful, isn't it? Yeah. We unfold the capacity to direct our behavior in right ways, a result of spirituality. Woo, that's cool, isn't it? Yeah, we get self-control. We get to bring forth all that we are. We get to see this in our spiritual growth. It's a cool thing. The rewards are it can benefit us so much. And it's like giving us a great gift. And again, we have to receive it. But the added bonus is this. We realize that we are feeding our consciousness on divine patience. When we start seeing that and claiming that for ourselves, when our thoughts are in harmony with divine law, they develop our bodies into God's beautiful, indestructible temple. Every single thing that happens in your body is a result of poverty consciousness, or you thinking in lack, or you speaking negative about your body. Any of those things. And when you do that, then guess what? It's going to happen. It's going to be there. It's going to affect you. So if we claim patience and we accept patience, then our bonus is that we get to realize that we are feeding our consciousness on divine patience. When our thoughts are in harmony with divine mind, they bring forth the beautiful bodies that we have. And the body doesn't include just the physical body. It's our mental, spiritual, and physical all together. And when we reach these heights, we will feel the power of patience working in our lives all the time. And we'll start being so proud of ourselves. Ooh, I did it. Didn't get overreact to something. And isn't that a bonus?
Yeah, that helps.
So today, I hope that you will affirm with me this. If you'll say it with me. We affirm the serene, calm, trustful spirit now accomplishes all the desires of my heart. I rest in peace. Thank you for being here today. God bless you.